yesterday, so at least this will help us. Okay, the easiest way to do this by far is to draw it. So here's negative 2, 1. Negative 2, 1. And this is 0, 3. And the question, negative 2, 1, 0, 3. And what I suggested to you was to draw the line and then find the slope. Now, if I want to find the slope of the line, what I'm going to do is go up 2 over 2. And up 2 over 2 is better known as what? 1. So we could say that the slope is 1. But I also want you to write the equation of a line. And as soon as I'm going to write the equation of a line, I have to fit it into some kind of format that involves or revolves around y equals mx plus b. Now, what does m stand for, everybody? Slope. So we know that it has to be y equals x or 1x, that's fine. And then it has to be plus the y-intercept. Now, what's so cool about doing it this way, where you just graph the thing, is you can look and see, oh, well, gee, I cross it there, right there, and that's 3. So the correct equation is y equals x plus 3. Okay? So all you have to do is use the graph to identify the slope and the y-intercept. Now let's take a look at the next one. And if I plan this right, it's not going to work out so well. Negative 3, 2, 4, 6, 7. 3, 2. Now, what's the slope to go from this point to this point? Well, first thing I have to remember, positive slopes go up, negative slopes go down. So this is definitely a negative slope. And how many do I go? I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. So the slope is negative 5, 6. Now, if I draw this line, and I'm going to do the best I can, given that a ruler really doesn't work particularly well here. What I see by looking at the graph is that it doesn't exactly cross on a perfect point like the other one did. See how it's kind of between those two numbers? Is that what you got on your paper too? Yeah, good. That's what you should have gotten. Now, then you say, well, what the heck? I don't know what the y-intercept is, and it's true, you don't. So this technique here, the technique for number 1, this is the best technique in the world. Draw the graph, see where it hits the y-axis. As great a technique as it is a limited technique because it doesn't always work. When you graph it and you have this situation where it goes through between two integral or integer values for the y-intercept, then that means that you can't do it this way. So we have to go to, if you will, plan B. And here's how we do plan B. I'll have you guys tell me the points again. What are the coordinates for the first point? Negative 2, 1, and what? 0, 3. Okay. Now, once again, I want to emphasize, the first thing you do, the first option is to graph it and just see if it goes perfectly through a point on the y-axis. If it does, you can just recognize your y-intercept, you can count your slope, and you fill in m and b in y equals mx plus b. Let's do that with this one and show you that it'll work, even though it's a perfect point. We just said that everything in writing the equation of a line revolves around y equals mx plus b. And we did the problem earlier, and we found out the slope was 1. But let's do the slope analytically here. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And again, all that means is the y from the second point minus what? The y from the first point over what? Come on, talk. Over x from the second minus x from the first. I don't care what's point 1 and 2. I'll just call it this way. So then the slope is going to be, draw the line and the minus signs because sometimes kids forget one of those. The y from the second is 3, the y from the first is 1, the x from the second is 0, and the x from the first is negative 2. 3 minus 1 is 2, 0 minus negative 2 is 2, so the slope is 1, and now I know what my slope is. So I could go back to y equals mx plus b, and in this case, I know what my slope is, so I put a 1. And I have y equals 1x plus b or y equals x plus b. And at this point in time, I know if I was a student, I would be looking up going, I don't see how to find B. I feel stuck. I feel like I can't go any further. And that's because there's something very subtle here going on that's really easy. But we tend not to think about it. What are the coordinates of any point? X, Y. So in other words, when I look at this point, and I can use either one, it doesn't matter. I have an X and a Y, and I can put those in here. So 3 equals 1 times 0 plus B. So the step you have to make, the first step is to figure out the slope. The second step is to plug in either of the coordinates for X and Y. And then once you do that, you just keep right on going. 3 equals 0 plus B. I don't really have to minus the 0, so 3 equals B. And I go in and I put it right here, and my final answer is Y equals X plus 10. So once again, if there's a process that you want to write down, the first thing you do is find the slope. The second thing you do is you substitute. I was going to write plug in, but just write substitute. And X, Y. And the third thing is solve for B. Right? And that's the process. You do that, and you'll get the answer every single time. So now let's go to the next question. What were the points for the next question? Negative 3, 7. And 3, 2. All right, so the first thing we have to do is find the slope. And again, it's y from second minus y from first over x from second minus x from first. And in this particular case, I'll call this 1 and 2. Again, it makes no difference. I'm going to get 2 minus 7 over 3 minus negative 3, which is negative 5 over 6. So there's my slope. And you could have done it by drawing it and counting it. That works fine too. Okay? So I have negative 5, 6, which means that my correct answer will be y equals negative 5, 6 x plus b, because this is the m in y equals mx plus b. And it's at this point that you're either going to get stuck or you're going to take the right step and it's going to be easy. What is the thing you have to remember to do now? It's not obvious, but it's easy. Look at the list over there. We found the slope. What was the next thing you have to do? Yeah, I have to plug in the coordinate, x, y. So I'll use this one because everything's positive, right? So here's my x and here's my y. So I'm going to write 2 equals negative 5 sixths of 3 plus b. And now I just have to do a little arithmetic. And it helps having the calculator for the fractions. 2 equals negative 15 over 6 plus b. Now, it is 5 times 3 is 15. So, look, things reduce, blah, blah, blah. With a calculator, we don't have to worry about that. I'm going to add 15 over 6 to both sides. And I know it seems awkward, but with the calculator, life is very simple. Do 2 plus 15 over 6, and you should come out with 4.5. Right? 4.5, everybody? Okay, and I'm going to even allow it to be the decimal, 4.5. A half is one that I will convert to decimals because 0.5 is pretty easy. And then I just go back, and where I had my equation going here, instead of b, what am I going to put? 4.5. So the correct answer is y equals negative 5, 6x plus 4.5. Okay? So this technique where you write out y equals mx plus b, it's called the analytic approach, where you write out y equals mx plus b, and you find the slope, and then you substitute in one of the coordinate pairs. It doesn't make a difference. It works the same either way. And you do that, That works when you graph it and it doesn't go through a perfect point on the axis, an integral value on the axis. And then you work it out. Any questions about this? Okay. So you now have today's lesson sheet in front of you. We have covered every type of question on this lesson sheet. It's finding slopes, it's writing equations of lines, etc., etc. I'm going to collect it tomorrow. You're going to start it now. You go right through. Do all the classwork. Keep going into the homework. I will collect it tomorrow. I will grade it, and I will give it back to you. There is no chance to make it up. The grade you're going to get is the grade you're going to get. But feel free to work together. All right? It's just a chance to make sure you're concentrating on how to get these equations. All right? Begin.
You don't give us the sheet.
What's that?
You didn't give it to us yet.
Oh, I didn't give you today's sheet yet? I'll give it to you right now. It looks exactly like the sheet you just had. And I just need to